James Whitaker, a retired surgeon in his early 60s, eased his sleek black Tesla to the side of a dusty rural road. The car's dashboard flashed an ominous warning: low battery. He sighed, running a hand through his silver-streaked hair as he realized he was stranded in the middle of nowhere, far from the comforts of his suburban home. The GPS signal was spotty, and the heat of the late afternoon sun beat relentlessly through the car windows. As James contemplated his options, he noticed movement in the distance. A figure on an old bicycle pedaled closer. It was a young girl, no older than 12, with curly hair tied back in a fraying ponytail. She wore a patchwork backpack and a determined look on her sun-kissed face. When she reached the car, she slowed to a stop and dismounted gracefully.
Car trouble?
She asked, tilting her head with a curious smile. James hesitated, embarrassed to admit his predicament.
Low battery. I underestimated how far the next charging station would be.
The girl nodded knowingly.
That happens sometimes. My grandpa says fancy cars can still have old-fashioned problems.
She leaned her bike against a nearby fence post.
We've got a generator at home. I can help you get some charge, enough to get to town.
James blinked.
You'd do that? I don't want to inconvenience you.
She shrugged.
It's no trouble. Our place is just up the road.
She gestured for him to follow as she hopped back on her bike. A bike ride later, they arrived at a modest farmhouse with peeling white paint and a yard dotted with chickens. The girl parked her bike and called out,
Grandpa, we've got a visitor.
An older man with a kind face and calloused hands stepped out of a workshop beside the house.
Well, hello there.
He greeted James. The girl quickly explained the situation, and the man nodded.
We've got a portable generator. Let's get you sorted.
The girl darted off to fetch the generator while her grandfather chatted with James.
Maggie's got a knack for helping folks,
He said proudly.
Don't let her small size fool you. She's got a heart bigger than this farm.
Maggie returned, wheeling the generator with ease. She set to work connecting it to the Tesla under her grandfather's watchful eye. James stood by, marveling at her confidence and capability. In less than an hour, the car had enough charge to get him to the nearest station. As James thanked them profusely, he pulled out his wallet.
Please, let me pay you for your time and effort.
Maggie shook her head firmly.
You don't need to pay us. Just help the next person who needs it, okay?
Her words struck James deeply. As he climbed back into his car, he felt a profound sense of gratitude, not just for their help, but for the reminder of simple kindness. That night, James sat in his spacious, meticulously decorated home, reflecting on the encounter. He realized how rare it was to find such selflessness in a world so often driven by transactions and expectations. The next morning, unable to shake the memory of Maggie and her grandfather, James made a decision. He returned to the farmhouse with a small team of volunteers and supplies. Maggie and her grandfather stood in stunned silence as James explained his plan to repair their aging house and revitalize their small farm.
You didn't have to do this.
Maggie's grandfather said, his voice thick with emotion. James smiled warmly.
It's my turn to pay it forward. You reminded me of something I'd forgotten, that it's not about what we have, but how we share it.
Over the following weeks, James worked alongside the volunteers, painting walls, fixing fences, and even building a new chicken coop. Maggie, ever curious, asked countless questions about his career as a surgeon, and he delighted in sharing his stories. By the time the renovations were complete, the farmhouse radiated new life. The once tired property stood as a testament to community, kindness, and gratitude. And for James, it was the beginning of a new chapter, one where he found fulfillment not in accolades or possessions, but in the joy of giving back.